but yeah, welcome and thank you for joining the session. My name is Íñigo Blanco. I'm one of the founders of a very colorful and exciting business strategy and design agency based in Bilbao, in the Basque Country in Spain. And we've been friends and part of this League of Entrepreneurs for quite some years now. And I've got this call from Flor and Maggie as founder regarding how the narratives from the private and public sector, they are shifting. This is rather a very esoteric, strange concept, but somehow we are lucky because I found like three beautiful, brilliant minds and three change makers that myself and thought we admire them a lot. The third one she will join in a minute, but we have today Ollane Aldaiturriaga from BBK. Later I will introduce her better. We have Nerea Plaza from Akbar, Aguas de Barcelona. Ollane is based in Bilbao. And Maysoon is based in Madrid, okay? And the good thing is that in order to talk about this shift, organizations, they are doing on how to understand territorial and societal needs to create social innovation, we have three very different examples today, and that's very exciting. So you will see later, but we've got a banking foundation, like a very old 100+ year banking foundation, transforming the organization in order to support better social innovation in the region. We have again Akbar, which is a water treatment and water management, very huge company dealing with nature resources. That's a very a strange type of company. So they are not selling tables, they are not selling flour, but somehow they are managing water for literally millions of people in literally dozens of cities, of course in Barcelona, but all over Spain. And then we have Maysoon, that she's a PhD in physics, very passionate entrepreneur, but she's a public servant. She works in the town hall in Madrid, probably the most exciting, complex town hall to work in Spain, I could say. So we have these three very different perspectives for today, okay? Before I give pass to the three of them, I took the advantage of somehow being the moderator of this session. Oh, Maysoon, welcome. Amazing. This is very exciting.
I did it.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. Okay, so now the plan, it goes, I have like a 8-10 minutes presentation just to warm up the conversation with this very funky title we've got about public and private perspectives in new narratives in social innovation, blah, blah, blah. I've got like 4 key topics I would like to arise, and then we will zoom in these 3 cases, okay? So let's see, now that we are all connected here, if my screen it works. As I said, you know, we are a business strategy and design agency. So the fun part is like very big companies, they come to us when they have troubles, when they have aspirations, when they have a need on reimagining their business strategy and products or services when social innovation, sustainability, or new well-being patterns in society, they are affecting their products, they are affecting their perception in society. So good news is that we are happy to work, you know, with companies, organizations that they impact literally millions of people every day. So we have a very privileged point of view in how this social innovation it's happening, and how these companies, both private or public sector organizations that we are going to see here today with Maysoon, how they are reimagining their impact in society and in the environment, all right? So we have this very funky name for the session. So you should be freaking out, like, okay, what is this new narrative? What is this companies creating territorial social impact? So just to set the scene, I come with 4 points that I would like to mention today, okay? So the first of all is that we are used to engage with companies or with public administration just through products and experiences or services or politics. No, so until now it was very clear that this company wanted to sell you a chair, this company wanted to sell you a yogurt, this company wanted to sell you I don't know, some water somewhere in a bottle. But the first change we are seeing is that all these companies, they are transforming themselves into a challenge-solving organization. So it's not like my company selling yogurts, but what they are trying to do is to help you to fight obesity in your family. So this type of shift in the narrative of private and public companies, it's very exciting. So now companies, they are not selling food anymore, but they are talking about diet, they are talking about fighting obesity, they are talking about millennial parenting, or they are not selling insurance anymore, but they are selling active aging, they are selling well-being for millennials. So we see this is a very big shift. Somehow it's very difficult for a company or an organization to do. That's why I invited these three amazing cases today, because those are three companies that I believe that they are leading this type of challenge-solving organization narrative. So this is very interesting to see, okay? Like this shift from selling a service or selling some banking product or selling one specific program to solve a challenge. And this is where society somehow gets interested in what you are doing. Then the second one is like we see all these huge companies, you know, we have very big companies today like Akbar or BBK. They are very long-lasting companies with thousands of employees operating, you know, in different places. And society, entrepreneurs, innovators, we didn't really know how to work together with such big companies. You know, if I idea, if I want to solve this problem, how can I go to BBK? How can I go to somehow work together? So the second thing we are doing is like all these change maker companies with this new narrative they've got in mind, they are open spaces, playgrounds, laboratories, programs to interact in a more smaller, quiet, cozy, face-to-face environment. So we will see here today very exciting examples of how these companies, they are activating new equipments, social innovation laboratories, citizen-driven forums, places to work together with this quadruple helix view on how to put together with the private sector, with society, with the NGOs. So this is happening, and this is a very interesting thing to feel, but some very difficult thing to activate. So we have very exciting examples today on how these apparently super huge companies, they are activating places that they make sense to work together with citizens, with NGO, with entrepreneurs. And this is something that clearly we see it's happening. Then talking about and companies, there was always like this corporate social responsibility aroma to all this. And my perception until now is that companies, they've been doing some patchwork programming, some patchwork projecting without not really having a clear strategy and just somehow activating projects here and there internationally with not really a clear focus. And what I believe is happening, and this is a very exciting thing to feel, it's like how internal narratives they've been created and putting together public administration with companies, with NGOs, with society to face or to tackle a shared vision or to tackle a shared challenge. For instance, in the Basque Country region, there's like this claim about how to transform the whole territory into an innovative culinary nation and how to activate this vision starting from the top government all the way to the last school in the region, and how a vision can be activated through this multi-stakeholder narrative. And this, again, is very exciting because until now, at the time of addressing social impact, each one of the players, they were doing their own thing. But these days, I believe, or in the good cases, these efforts, they are in a strategic point of view, order, presented, and activated. So we will see very exciting examples today on how companies, they understand the need of the territory, the strategic position of the territory to the world and to the local point of view, and how they activate programs that they are meaningful for society today. And then the last point I had planned is this: we've been used just to engage with the public administration through promises, like political promises, or with companies through storytelling and through receiving some advertisement, publicity at home, through television, through your phone. But I believe we are all fed up about this storytelling, and what we are demanding for companies promoting, and being proud about social impact, our environmental custody, is the story doing. And suddenly, how the patterns of consumption of users and people in a supermarket, in the street, when they go and choose an energy provider, when they go and choose a car brand, it got a lot to do with the story doing. And we see how also companies, community, they are starting to forget the storytelling and just this fancy, blurry, exciting promise about something, to just tell and present what they are doing for a certain matter. And you will see on your LinkedIn, on your Twitter, how companies, they are much more transparent and much more straightforward, like, hey guys, we want to be a meaningful player in circular economy in our region, in our city. We are doing this thing with these guys. We are doing this thing in this place. And we are very proud. Please buy this thing, or please join us here. So this shift to story doing is also changing a lot the narrative, how all these companies, they dialogue with people, okay? So we have like these 4 points. They are shifting the narrative on how all these organizations, they interact, and then all this creates this very strange role to explain about the changemaker entrepreneurs, as we will see today with Ollane Nerea and Maizun. But these guys, they are able to be future literate, and somehow in this connection with the territory and this connection with the target and with the citizens, with the users, on how to really imagine a better future and how to connect that with their own organization. So this is something very difficult to do, but I believe like these 3 people, they are doing this every day on understanding what my territory, what my region, they will need in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and using an organization to fit this gap or to tap this opportunity. This is something we will see today with very concrete examples. Then companies, they've been somehow running and producing without a purpose, but now we need people with a clear purpose to bring back these new narratives and this new vision. So it's important to also feel how people inside these organizations, they embody the purpose of what they are doing. So this much is also something interesting to see about these corporate change makers. Then, of course, this is not just a, very funky, beautiful thing to do, but we need to have this strategical point of view at the time of addressing this collaboration, at the time of addressing new business models, at the time of inviting citizens, people to engage with your company. That's something very sensitive to do. So it's important to have this strategical point of view in mind, and we will see today how these people, they are making an impact in their organization, and they are making a difference to their competitors through change maker projects. And then, of course, this will bring companies to do things for the very first time. So we will see with BBK Banking Foundation with Ollane, what I believe is the first attempt for a company to engage with a citizen group to plan the future of a social innovation lab through a public lottery. So this had never happened in Spain, and these guys, somehow they are pioneering new forums on how to engage to people. Or Maizun, she will let us know how a monster huge town hall like Madrid is opening up connection forums between public servants and startups. So we will see also these sparks happening for the very first time, okay? So the other day I watched this Friends reunion, so I'm very emotional again about Friends, I guess. But so the only way, you know, to really drive all this innovation through is somehow to act together, you know. And probably big corporates or big public administrations, they are not used to do that. You know, they used to have the talent and the resources to make things on their own. Now, since we are tapping a societal need, this is not happening again. So it's very interesting how this huge interesting collaboration with smaller NGOs, with a smaller startup, with a group of youngsters, with universities, with vocational training organizations. So this is happening, you know. With all this in mind, I'm to this place, and will open the floor for Ollana Aldaiturriaga. She's the talent and entrepreneurship director at this BBK Foundation. She will explain now in a minute, but for you to know, they are based in Vizcaya, which is a region in the Basque Country, northern Spain. They've been there for 100 years, literally, and for the last year, they've been feeling this transformation process very deeply. They've got like very exciting concrete programs for you to know today. Okay? So I will shut up and I will let the stage for Ollane.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad of being here with all of you. And yeah, I would like to share the experience of BBK. I've prepared a small presentation. Yep. Can you see it?
It works.
Yeah, okay. It works, great. I would like to start, as you said, with a little bit of context, right? BBK is a banking foundation holding 57% of the equity of Kutxabank. Kutxabank is the largest bank in the Basque Country, okay? So with the profit obtained, we carry out our foundation projects, having the largest budget per capita in Spain, right? But as Íñigo said, BBK is an entity with more than 100 years of history. And so we are in a constant process of innovation, of transformation, because our mission is to solve or to give solutions to the necessities of Biscay, and we are in a constant process of innovation. As you would imagine, we need a bunch of entrepreneurs to be in this constant process and to adapt, because our vision is to stay one step the administration. We need to be where the public administration is not, and we need to understand and to solve these new problems of society in more innovative ways. So in this vision of to Biscay society needs, on 4 main areas: inclusion, equality, and social participation; culture, education, talent, and entrepreneurship; and environment and sustainable development. So as we would say, we have the social, cultural, economic, and environmental areas, and 2 transversal areas, which are innovation and social impact, because we really believe on measuring social impact, measuring the impact of what we do and the impact of those we work with, right? So in this process of as I said, adapting to the needs of our society, we believe we had to do something to localize SDGs, right? And that's how BBK Cuna was created, an amazing 5-floor building done in 19... a protected building where we're gonna locate a social hub who will try to localize the SDGs and generate solutions for the SDGs. And how we are gonna do it? Well, basically, as Íñigo said, we want to do it with a collaborative methodology. with a quadruple helix methodology where academia, public administration, civil society, and businesses work together to solve our society's challenges, right? And so, how are we gonna do it? Okay, so we're gonna involve society, and we're gonna work in these main areas. We're gonna work in multi-stakeholder platforms, on citizen engagement, and partnerships, and finally entrepreneurship as a tool to localize and to implement the solutions, right? So regarding multi-stakeholder platforms, we launched a multi-stakeholder platform to envisage a multi-sectorial partnership to activate 2030 agenda in our country. So this is a network of companies, of public administrations, of NGOs, of administrations who work together to localize a 2030 agenda, because we believe we cannot do it alone, of course. And so this platform has just recently been created. We have, for the moment, more than 70 companies working on it, and we will have one referent company or entity per SDG. So each of the SDGs will have one referent company who will lead the rest of the country towards the agenda. An important point as well, as Inigo said, is citizen engagement in this new project. This is, it's of course, as Inigo said, we're quite of pioneering, because it's the first time an entity like ours, with more than 100-year history, is approaching the society like this. How are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it in three main steps, which is neighborhood, young people, and citizens in general. Okay, so regarding the neighborhood, for example, we have constituted a council, a neighborhood council, selected by law, by inviting 15,000 inhabitants of the neighborhood to participate in this lottery, right? And now we have a 21 people, a council, equilibrated in gender, in age, in origin, and these 21 people are working on real projects on our building. They decided how the outdoors of the building are gonna look like. Okay, they've decided where they wanna, how they're gonna design the space, how they're gonna put the trees, the benches, and how they're gonna use this. And this has been a very, very nice experience, and we want to continue to work very deeply in this area. Young people are also important for us, and we launched it together with DOT, with Inigo's team, a learning game in action experience where 30 people of Biscay have been working on providing solutions to society. They've worked it in like a gaming experience, but it has empowered them a lot. It has them made connection, and it has made them also believe that they are active part of the solutions of our challenges. And finally, since we, for example, we will launch different initiatives, for example, learning communities where people with same interests gather to find solution, and we from BBK Cuna, we will facilitate those communities. And also we've launched an Open Science Festival where citizens can become scientists for a day, and they involve in what science means. So point where we are launching a lot of projects which are making, are changing our ways of doing, approaching citizens, and are really, are being really interesting for us. Of course, an important pillar, we will work on, we have programs aimed at jobs of the future, for example, digital boot camps where people can learn and then find a job in the digital market. We are building also programs in SDGs on how the companies and entities can work implementing the SDGs in their strategies, and of course, social innovation. We think that all the all the information, all the knowledge generated in our project, develop nice education programs. And finally, as I said, we also support entrepreneurship because we believe entrepreneurship is one of the most fastest and effective ways of localizing, going back to solutions of social innovation made, right? We believe entrepreneurship is a key tool, and that's why we have designed the entrepreneur journey, where we help social entrepreneurs in all their journey by financing their companies, but also by mentoring and accelerating programs and so on. So yeah, I would like to end with this slide again. So what is our approach right now towards social innovation? Which kind of tools we are activating to engage and to approach new different ways of solving the challenges we face as society. And we want to have an active role, and we want to transform our role in society. And so, yeah, a lot of work, but amazing and so interesting. And I'm so glad to share it with you. And please feel free to write me for any my email in the chat, and feel free to write to me. And if you think we can collaborate or whatever. Thank you.
Amazing. No, it's crazy to see all these programs just in a couple of slides, all the hard work, to be honest. And again, I really like this, I don't know, forums or formats for participation, I mean, it sounds crazy to do all that, but I think it's smart. And that's why somehow also you were invited to the session, because it's a really, really good example of how a huge company suddenly starts to, okay, we got this forum with the citizens in the neighborhood of our social innovation lab. It's a key target, the youth. So we activate the format with the youth, with the same challenges we are having in our laboratory. We activate the multi-stakeholder platform to engage with different type of organizations. No, actually, I was reflecting, listening to you, like you are even doing, like the role of a town hall, and then we will listen my soon doing the role of a startup from a town hall. No, so it's also how these new narratives, they are changing. No, like suddenly how you are engaging in public participation, social innovation, SDGs in such a level. And now we will listen on how public administration is also playing a role in supporting entrepreneurs, as you do with the entrepreneurial journey at the BBK. So yeah, thank you. Whatever question, please leave it in the chat. And after the we'll have, no matter the time, because we started like 20 minutes late, at least space for a couple of questions. But now we will move on from Bilbao to Barcelona, from Ollane to Nerea Plaza. She's the head of 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development at Akbar. As I mentioned, a very special company, because these guys, they take care of the water of your city. So they've got a very important role, how you think, on how you cook, on how we do agriculture, on how we do many things. So they really have a word on how to empower the custody of the environment, on how to enable a circular economy in the region, and how to activate regenerative agriculture and economies. And Nereas has got a very strange role in putting all these stakeholders together and under the same vision. So thank you for joining, Nerea, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Inigo. I'm really pleased to be here today. So thank you for inviting me to this amazing session. So my name is Nerea. I work in Akbar. Akbar is a multinational company with more than 16,000 employees, basically in Spain, but also in Latin America. And yes, we work to provide what we call essential environmental services for everyone. We provide environmental solutions for the public and private sector, and we the main our main activity is the management of the water cycle, and that means that we supply, as Inigo said, high quality water to more than 1,200 towns in Spain and also in Colombia, Cuba, Mexico, or Chile. We also operate with local brands, and that means that we change our name in every town. We have Barcelona Water, we have Granada Water, we have Andinas Water, and we also are really committed, obviously, to engage stakeholders to work towards the green economy and towards the SDGs. So we kind of make the think local, global, act local, think reality. And well, I was listening to Ayane. The company is also 160 years old. And so that's important, because one of the things that can make a company to survive for so long is to have a really solid foundation, solid processes, solid culture, and the kind of things that create the way we do things in Akbar. And that's obviously has helped us to survive and to become a reference in our sector, but that's not the only thing, or at least that's not enough, and or not anymore. To survive that amount of time, you also need to be able to listen to the needs of the people and of your stakeholders, to adapt to changes, to be innovative, and you have to give answers to the expectation of your stakeholders, and you have to create social value and do it quickly. And that's something that we are seeing every day. So I'm sure you remember that I'm gonna share a photograph that you remember this idea of this professor at the MIT of the elephant and the gazelle. Are you seeing the photograph? Yes, so being the elephant, the big company, and then the gazelle, the startup, that it's quicker, it's more agile. So we are obviously the big elephant here. We are lots of people, lots of brands, lots of lines of activities, lots of processes, and so on. So this is just a tiny part of all our brands. So it can be really confusing to work with us, and Inigo knows that really well. You really need that to adapt to all the challenges that may arise in the context. The context right now is really complicated. You know how it is. There's a demographic growth, climate change, social and geographical inequalities. People are increasingly exposed to the consequences of the environmental emergency that is affecting our planet. So what we've learned in the past decade, and the COVID pandemic only has confirmed that, is that we face challenges so big that cooperation is the only way to solve them. And as Inigo said, that's an easy thing to say, but no an easy thing to do. We all know that we have to collaborate, but sometimes the dynamics of the company are not adapted to do so. So that's one of the challenges. The second thing we've learned is that we must always put the people in the center, but not in a passive way. We have to let people participate, co-create, give some ideas, and we need to empower them so that they can do all of that. So with these two learnings, and in the middle of the COVID pandemic, when we were thinking how we were going to face all the increasing challenges regarding the economic crisis, the growing number of people in poverty or unemployed who can't pay for the bills, for example, challenges regarding the climate change, the ecological transitions, we had this idea. Why don't we invite other actors to think about this and help us decide the strategy and the model of water management that is better for people, for the cities, and for the environment? And all of that aligned with the 2030 agenda. So we decided to lead the change on that. Inigo, you talk about challenge-solving organization, and that's the idea. Maybe there are some really big challenges, and we are not supposed to be involved in them, but we are leading this movement because we want to participate and be a part of the solution. So we launched this idea of creating a new social contract, and to create a multi-stakeholder platform. And we are currently participating and leading the co-creation of a new social contract on a local level in more than 60 cities in Spain. And this social contract has to be based on dialogue and consensus, and in it includes public administrations, economic sector, citizens, NGOs, and all the actors that can be relevant in a territory. So these social contracts have three main lines of actions: solidarity, employment, and green recovery. And I want to give you an example for each of them so that you can have an idea of the kind of initiatives that we want to promote. The first one is solidarity, and it really refers to how we make our service available and accessible for all people, regardless of their situation. That includes how we ensure that people can have access to water, for example, creating social funds with NGOs, also promoting the creation of social tariffs with the public administrations, but it also includes other things. So let me introduce you to Nuria Ponce. This is Nuria Ponce. She works in our customer service team. She works in Aguas de Huelva, which is a company that works in the south of Spain. And one day she had to assist to this woman called Fatima. She was deaf, and she came to the office with an interpreter, but Nuria got really frustrated because she couldn't keep the fluid dialogue with Fatima. She couldn't look into her eyes. And so after the visit, she got in touch with the associations of deaf people in Aguas de Huelva. And then she discovered a new world because she started to she got to know all the difficulties that people with disabilities face in their day-to-day lives. She discovered that I don't know. Now you're seeing the photograph, right? Yeah, this is Nuria. So she learned a lot about people with disabilities. She started to talk to other associations. She discovered that there are many different disabilities. So she came up with a list of things that we could do to improve our service, our customer service, and to transform our offices. She talked to her manager, and they started with this project, and they have been working on that for 4 years, and now we have one of the most accessible customer service in Aguas de Huelva. They have this system for translating for deaf people, or smart beacons for blind people. They have also adapted pictograms for people with autism, and they have become a reference for all the company. We are now implementing all the things in the rest of our offices. And the thing is that at that time, Aguas de Huelva was in the middle of a transformation. They were moving from like this public service model to being a more committed company with the territory. They wanted to be recognized as a social company involved in the problems of the city. So they were training their employees with agile methodologies, and so they were in the middle of this change, and I think that helped also to develop this project, because Nuria felt really legitimated and empowered to initiate this transformation. And this has helped us also to think how we are digitalizing our services right now, because with the pandemic, we had to close most of our offices, and we need to keep in mind that there are many people with different needs, and we really need to try to give answers to those needs. The second line of action is employment, and it includes the capacity to create decent green jobs, to develop the skills and knowledge of our teams. But I want to share another example of how to empower people. Sorry, I had to keep this. So I'm sure you see this photograph. Do you know what this is? I really don't know either, because that's something that one of our workers created. He did it by himself. So 3 years ago, we launched this Aquamakers program, and we wanted our people to feel empowered to develop their ideas and to solve the day-to-day problems that they could meet during their day-to-day work. So this is a kind of a poll that can help to inspect high places or secluded spaces. And what we did was we provided our people with training on different methodologies. We created also a lab. We provided them with the 3D print, and and the most important thing, I think, is that we helped them to believe that they could create the solutions, and then they can test them, and then we see if this solution can be implemented in other offices. So for me, that's amazing. Like to see that somehow someone could develop this device for me. That's really amazing. And by the way, this Aquamakers team in Barcelona created, and they produced masks and they gave the masks to an association, a social association in Barcelona, because during the first weeks of the pandemic, there weren't masks available. There was cut off supply of masks, so they used the 3D print to produce these masks. I have many other examples. I had to choose, but for the third and last line of action, which is green recovery, that's part of our core. We work with natural resources. We've been leading the change towards a green economy for many decades, in fact, in terms of circular economy, fighting climate change, recovering waste. One example is the Nimbus project. With the Nimbus project, we are investigating how to transform the sludges of the water treatment plant into biofuel that can be used by the buses of the public transport company in Barcelona, and so significantly reducing the emissions and helping the city to become carbon neutral by 2030. So we usually work to improve our processes and to see how we became positive. We had a positive impact in the environment, but now we've seen and we've realized that when we work with others, we have a greater impact, and we can find new ideas and forms to improve our social impact. In the green recovery focus, we also have this initiative, which is called Start for Big. This was created as a collaborative initiative with 4 other multinationals in Barcelona. The aim was to partner with the world's most disruptive startups and develop impactful solutions for the customers. And our objective is to identify disruptive technologies. And so in one process, we launched a challenge to the global community of entrepreneurs, and then we select the best startups to collaborate, and then they have like these 5 big companies to test and scale up their projects. So with just one process, they can access to lots of knowledge and resources. And we also wanted to strengthen the Spanish entrepreneurial ecosystem and also have bigger social impact in the territory. I want to share with you one of the last pilot, which is this remote technical assistant. Is this? I only found it here in LinkedIn. So with this technology, this startup developed a device that works through augmented reality, and our workers, when they've found some kind of problem with the pipes or wherever, they use this device, and this device adds some information through augmented reality. And so the people, our experts that are in the office, can help them in real time to solve the project. So this is one of the pilots that we are testing right now, and it's been really useful so far. So that's, well, so just for you to see the kind of technology that we are testing. So as a conclusion, I would say that I hope these examples can give you an idea of the kind of projects that we are promoting within the social contracts. But the main idea is that we really need collaboration. We really need to empower people, and we really can and must become an elephant between an elephant and a gazelle. You really need to listen to your stakeholders. You really need to be open to collaborate, not only say that you want to collaborate, but really implement real programs and projects. And empowering people, I think it's magic things that makes it work. And finally, I think that you really need to transform all these into corporate culture to make it work. And that's all. I think I will wait for if there's any questions on the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nerea. As always, listening to you is overwhelming, because how smart you are, and also how many things Akbar is in. I good to know again, no, like from the very high-end social contract with the public administration all the way to the startups, and also arising a very important topic in this forum, which is how to promote also entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial processes and ideas within these big companies. No, that's also a big challenge in order to create better social impact. So thank you for that. From Bilbao, we moved to Barcelona. Now we are moving to Madrid. A pleasure to introduce to you Maysoon. She's very difficult to introduce, I guess, because I guess she got her PhD in physics, why not? She's an entrepreneur herself in a startup dealing with technology and R&D called Excellentin. Why not? But then the funny thing of Maysun these days is she's a counselor in the Madrid town hall. So she works in politics, and I think she's one of the rock star persons in politics these days regarding this new way of doing this strange match between the big elephant, public administration, blah, 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 with these funky gazelles Nerea was talking about, the startups, more the entrepreneurial centers in the neighborhoods of Madrid. Well, she's got a strange view about all this. So Maysun, thank you for joining, and we are moving from this corporate world all the way to another elephant, but with a different perspective. So the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Inigo. My pleasure to be here at this special week with great entrepreneurs, but also great persons that are leading changes in different stages. So I was amazed by the concept of this elephant gazelle. So you got the right definition. And also I will, the funny thing about being the last one is that I can quote from here and there. So I will introduce by part of my concept based on the aspect social contract, because as Oyane said in her presentation, they are not public administration, but they do care about people and solving social needs from the foundation. And I think this is the relevant issue about this new era. Maybe we were working in previous the pandemic, lockdown, and all of this COVID issue, but the acceleration of last month give us the perspective, like we are not longer up to work isolated in silos, like public administration by herself, foundation and NGOs by in another way, and the corporates and the startup in other way. We must come all together and share our challenges and also collaborate to create this new perspective. So as Inigo said, I am a rara avis. I'm work here and there, and I have like a different view about the utility of politics. And me as a public representative, I feel myself more attached to people needs, to citizens needs, than to the issue of politics and run in the councils and all of this, which is very important, because at the end of the day, you must push your issues further. But let me share with you my screen. Please tell me if you can see it. You see it? Now is. Okay. So, as I said, I'm very happy to be here with you, and I am Maysun Duas. I hold a lot of hats, and this gives me like my special sense for life. And I want to share with you how the Madrid City Council engage with two kind of sectors, citizens and the startup sector. In the previous mandate, the Madrid City Council was awarded by the United Nations for public participation, citizens participation in different projects. We have like a site where people can engage, set their project and have the vote and the comments of the other citizens to push it further into the municipal agenda, but also to deliberate about a new project and the budget to be allocated to everyone. So the municipality of Madrid set a certain budget up to citizens' choice in social impact projects around the city. And it was very interesting to see what are the dynamics, what are the kind of people who are pushing those projects and who are like really willing to have this solution in the streets, in their neighborhoods, in changing the urbanistic like panorama or vision of Madrid. And this was very innovative for the city, and we still like trying to engage with more people. But we have a scenario before COVID I want to share with you. We have like different locations where innovation and people met, like La Nave, which is a huge space. I've been working there as an ecosystem builder and public relationship in there, attracting all talents, corporates, and other administration to work together to push innovative projects into the urban area. Also, we have International Lab, Media Lab, and other public spaces to attract and to co-create new solutions. We also have, as happened in many cities around the world, activities like fairs, meetups, hackathons, and all of this to make these activities tangible. And also the talent. We have the course, trainings, communities, and all of this. So what we are lacking in here? We lack the recipe. We have the ecosystem, the innovative innovation ecosystem. We have the public administration, which was, as I said, supporting all these activities in many ways, but we have a huge gap between innovation ecosystem and the public administration. So what does it mean? It means that public administration is not relying on all the outcomes from this innovative ecosystem. So, and we know the why behind all of this, like the bureaucracy, the timing, and the cycle duration. The administration, the public administration, something ready for a certain crisis, which could be remember like the mask issues. Now we have like the vaccinations, but we pass through a lot of crises, which was in need of innovative solutions, but the timing was not well set up with the ecosystem. And also we have like the culture. Startups and innovation come from creative, from being agile and all of this, and the public administration is like an elephant. We need to move further to be a gazelle. No? So I want to share with you this huge number, because really it is. The number of startups and SMEs who are like taking part of the public procurement is huge. Is half of the total of the public procurement, and we have an opportunity in there to drive, to push, to create new solutions based on this public procurement that already happens. Like we don't have to create new budget or to allocate new budget. It's already there, and we have to reimagine how to use it in the wise way, so we can cope with all these challenges and push not just innovation, but also to overcome all the social challenges we are facing. So what happens is that our paradigm should be moved from the one related to the ancient eras to the new ones after COVID issue, and all the learnings we have previous the COVID and the pandemic, and the ones achieved gain during the pandemic. So we need like to create this new space between innovation ecosystem and the public administration, so as to give this response, agile response to all the social need, the citizens need, and keep the citizens in the center of all what we do from the public sector. So why I'm saying I am stressing all these facts, because we have a huge number coming to budget. And in Europe, we have allocated like 100 billion euros that is targeted to get GovTech startups. It's a huge number. It's a lot of funding that we can make use of to achieve our goals, not just for the 2030 agenda, but the new challenges to come. So this 50% or nearly 50% of public procurement is key to this new success if we collaborate all together. So what comes next? come like the untrustful area, scenario, like 20% of founders or investors don't really think that policymakers, as myself, are taking care of them in the different struggles they are suffering from getting close to public administration, or bringing disruptive ideas into the scene, or engaging with BBK solutions and programs, or Akbar solutions when they want to share with them and to rely on their programs to achieve their goals. So what is happening in there? We have, I'm sorry this slide is in Spanish, but I will try to do my best to explain it. So we have like an iceberg. Public administration always like focus on giving prize to the most successful entrepreneurs, supporting with them many like spaces to for those meetings and all of this. But what really needs the ecosystem, the innovation ecosystems, is a guideful path, so they can like make sure that if their solution, the solution they are providing, is up to solve a social challenge in collaboration with public administration, they know the how and know how to present to public procurement, or how to overcome all the regulatory challenges, or how to test with in real environments and make sure that this technology or this process or this solution they are working on makes sense for public administration and for our social environment in general. So the main previously I talked about the drawbacks for any company in general, but when it comes to innovation and startup, we from the public administration, I can say that there is a poor mapping of innovative solutions. Nerea said, and Oyane also said, that they are like scouting new technologies, new talent, attracting new people to work in new challenges, to create solutions, to incorporate companies, and to help any of the companies to like close the gap between the reality and 2030 agenda. But when it comes to public administration, is not we are not mapping the for innovative solutions. But also we have a timing mismatching. When we need a solution, the solutions are not ready to be incorporated into public management, and this is a huge problem. But the worst of this is that we are asking people to be disruptive, to create innovative solution, and this per se implies that these new solutions are out of the box solutions. So they need for a new regulatory frames and new procedures for public procurement and collaboration for with public administration. And also we need to tackle this new culture and the skills needed to run these new projects once incorporated. But also, like, the mandates of the public administration are very isolated the one from another. And you see that the local administration not necessarily tackle the solution or the vision of some entrepreneurs and need to jump to the next level administration and all of this. And this is really as a drawback for a lot of startups who are and innovation solutions who are very eager to help and already have the solution. Okay, so what are these new narratives that I'm trying to push in the public administration agenda? Is creating new formats, new meetings for this situation, like public and public representative and public administration with innovative solutions, and also to create those test-based and sandboxes to make easier, not just for innovators, but also for population, for citizens to be close to these new solutions and engage with them previous to be launched to the market, and to be reliable in some way, and also to align all those solutions while they are deploying. Okay, so my what I'm bringing to the scene right now is a Startup Commission, which is an initiative that monthly brings public representative and the startups and make them speak together and give feedback one to another. Like the public representative are asked to evaluate the startup pitching, what the startup is offering, and guide them towards make this solution part of the public administration in the future, not in the session, not at the ending of the session, but to know how to overcome all the situation that already exist in the public administration. And also the startup usually ask the representatives, so does it match any of your daily challenges, your needs, the citizens you are serving? So how we can make it possible? So this conversation is very useful, and the feedback we are getting are amazing. Also is in Spanish. I'm sorry for that, but we are trying to make it more international and make it possible for other locations. But I think is the way to create these new narratives, like to close the gaps and make people know each other's. And the next thing is to create those test-based sandbox from the public administration. What I'm saying is to create this low-risk environment so people can give some mobility solution into the streets and test how if they make sense or not, plan how to if they want to go alone or engage with some other companies or other solutions to make it useful and more operational behavior at the end of the day, and also to plan for the pre-launch and all of this. Engaging with people, as I said, and also have the check on the regulatory side, and make sure that the launching is going good in the sense of sustainability and not wasting time, resources, and a lot of things. So when it comes to aligned solution, I think that in this path, in these new narratives, we can have this open dialogue with citizens, engage with them, and make their needs being heard by everyone, their specific needs, not just like the global ones, and also have like a sustainable service and management. Is not like I will patch with this solution here and then patch with the other solution, but making it sustainable, strengthen the alliances with the component of the society, not just the companies, the startup, but also the NGOs and the citizens. And as I said, we fail at the receive, but we can nail it. So thank you very much for giving me this time, and very happy and open for your questions.
Thank you, Maysoon. Yeah, very inspiring or very exciting, like this gap you mapped, between the talent solution and the public administration, and somehow these two worlds, if they are combining or not, or how, and as we've been mentioning today, which are those playgrounds for really this to happen. Yeah, very, very interesting, the three of you. Time, but we started also 20 minutes late. Maybe I have also maybe as a wrap-up question for the three of you. We've been mentioning today, a lot about these new narratives. We've been mentioning a lot about this revisit to the social contract. It's happening from very various places, and suddenly we are in a moment in which territory, companies, NGOs, society, we are coming together. So you have the three of you, very strange role in your organizations. Do you have one magic trick, one tip on how to put all these pieces together? So how to understand the need of a region, place, city, whatever, understand the needs of the kids playing in the playground, and somehow making sense of all this to create better positive environmental impact. Maybe it's the most difficult question done to you in your life, or at least in this week, but somehow it's interesting what you mentioned, you know, like this broader narrative, so not just the talking, but the value. Do you have one trick or conclusion, something?
I can start, Inigo, and I would say something that Maysoon also said, that you really don't need to invent anything. Sometimes it's just right there, but you can see it. Sometimes we want to create really big things, but I think that the first thing that we have to do is listen. We need to listen, and we need to dialogue with all the people, because in just one session you come up with so many ideas, and you realize that there are so many things that you can work on, and that there are so many areas where you can add some knowledge or improve the impact. Or so I think that that's one of the things that works is really it sounds really easy. It's not easy, but sometimes we think it's really difficult, and it's not. Sometimes you just need to listen.
Thank you, Nerea.
So I'm very agree with Nerea that we are like facing a new era with no player as a leader. So is an era of distribution and distributed leadership. So each one of us can have like the ownership, like to say, of something, but at the end of the day, we must come together to work on the solution. And the citizens are part of this thing. They are also the change, like the change making wouldn't be happy and possible if citizens are not very engaged and eager to make part of it. So you have to listen to the citizens. One size fits all solution are no longer possible. You have to customize. It's not the sense of customize, but to make it tailor-made for those people and their needs. And I think that Nerea said like the legitimation and empowerment, like from public administration, we are all the times encouraging people to do things. But encouraging is one thing, and give them the opportunity to make it happen is another thing, which is empowerment. And I think that we have to move in this sense. And the trick is to make the people and to drive these emotions, like you can do it, and I am here to support you. And I think this is the trick at the end of the day.
Agree. I would say, I mean, yeah, collaboration. We cannot, have the solutions for everything. As Maysoon said, shared leadership. And as a point of view, I would say one trick is, take risks. You have to launch new projects. You have to take risks. And yesterday I heard in one of the sessions that they talk, you have this kind of 20% of entrepreneurs in the company. So, you have to take this strength, this power, this energy, take this 20% and become this 20% of change makers in the company, make them 50%, 60%. And so this, from a company point of view, it's like take risks and empower people and, and be doing new things.
Toma, yeah, okay, no, I really like I was taking notes, so I like this part. Nerea mentioned like not maybe just the new lenses, but also either new earplugs, new tongue on how to talk, dialogue, listen, society or possible partners. This Maysoon approach to distributed leadership, I think that's a very humbling reflection to do, but of course, it doesn't matter how elephant company we represent or not, but somehow this servant leadership, distributed leadership to foster this citizen engagement, and then this taking risk energy from Oiane on how to tap also the energy of the company, how to provide new pioneering solutions. So yeah, I mean, this wasn't planned, but it happened in a very beautiful way. Yeah, so thank you so much. Maybe we can leave the session here. Again, Oiane, Nerea, Maysun, big pleasure. I know you are very busy. Probably you need to be in 3 million places now, or maybe half an hour ago, but thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for sticking this extra time.